everybody, and welcome to the Hot Takes podcast, making our long awaited return. It's been a couple of months, especially since I've been on. I wasn't on the last episode, but we're back with just Christian and I today,
Hello.
talking a little bit about what we've been watching in terms of anime in the first half of the year. Uh, we're just wrapping up the spring season, so it's a good time to look at how the year's been so far.
Yeah, talk shit about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I honestly haven't really thought too much about just what is my feelings about anime this year. So this will be kind of a good opportunity for me to really think about what have I watched, what I think about it. So we'll see where we land at the end of
I've been thinking
this.
about it. I've been thinking about it a little bit, and I'll save my thoughts into the end. Maybe they'll be influenced by our discussion. But it's been an interesting year so far. Some things are good, some things are bad as usual.
Yeah, yeah,
But I guess we'll start with the winter season. What were you watching for the winter?
Um, well, for the winter, the kind of first thing that comes to mind is I watched. Well, so first I had to watch the first season of the new Trigun Stampede.
Oh yeah.
It had been on my list since you reviewed it whenever it came out, and then the second season was coming out. Finally, took the opportunity to watch it. So just on the first season, really liked it. Really good. Highly recommend it. Um, Stargaze, on the other hand, the second season, I didn't like as much. To me, the pacing was just kind of off. It felt like it was very rushed at many moments to me.
I definitely agree that the second season Stargaze felt weaker than the first season, but there were still some really strong points in Stargaze. I think like the first 3 or 4 episodes were really good, and then it kind of just fell off a little bit, and then the very end was really strong again.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate from my experience. Yeah, it started off strong, and then yeah, kind of the middle like 7 episodes or so were to me just the pacing was off with those, wasn't as strong in terms of things going on. It often felt like um, they would have some sort of conflict or something come up and it would be very quickly resolved, even though probably should take more time. I don't know. To me it was just pacing was off. Both in
Yeah, I
individual
mean,
episodes and over the season.
I think they were trying to follow up on like how the first season kind of worked, where each episode they kind of went to a new town and fought a new crazy enemy, and it was kind of just then and over there. But I think it didn't work quite as well in the second season because they weren't moving around. They were just in the same place,
Yeah,
and people would
yeah.
just show up and then just like we got them, they're
Yep,
done.
we got him. Yep, we're done. All right. Let's
And
go
then
on to the
someone
next
else
one.
would immediately show up because they hadn't left the place they were hanging out in,
Yeah.
and it's like the same thing over again, and it felt slow and weird. I felt like a lot through the middle. I was waiting for when they would move on to somewhere else, and then they never did until they started going to the end of the show.
Yeah, yeah.
But the end of the
It
show was really cool.
Yeah, the end of the
Like
show was really cool. Wrapped things up uh, pretty well overall for the show. I think it is a case where if you only ever watch Stampede, you're probably fine. I think Stampede has a pretty good ending.
I honestly wasn't expecting a second season because
Yeah,
Stampede feels like such a complete experience.
it very much does. And so yeah, I would say Stargaze isn't necessarily something I'm going to specifically say people have to watch. Um, but if people like Stampede enough and they do want to see more of it, I think Stargaze is still a good addition overall, even if it is weaker.
I would still recommend Stargate strongly because I feel like the end of Stampede has like 1 or 2 episodes that are like just amazing episodes, like fantastic television. I could not recommend them enough. And I think there's at least 1 or 2 episodes in Stargaze that meet that mark. It's just that there's more episodes that are significantly less good than that.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I think it's like the third episode of Stargaze, which was like fantastic. It might have been the second.
I honestly could not tell you about the individual episodes at this point. It's been a long year, you know.
As we
um,
say in our midpoint.
yeah. um, but yeah. Any more
What other
thoughts
shows
there?
did you
Or
watch in the winter?
yeah, yeah. I mean, other shows. I'll save kind of the main one that everyone was watching. But I'll go to something that's more very much me, which was You and I Are Polar Opposites.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
rom com, and I really really like it. It's it's part of definitely like this new era of rom coms where the couple gets together early. Spoilers, just the first episode, they get together at the end. So, um, very much it's them navigating a relationship. You do also have side characters, they have their own things going on. But just in terms of the writing, there's a certain relatability with basically all of the characters. They're all really well written, um, and they feel pretty like grounded. But at the same time, there's a lot of comedy still within it. It's not really, as we know, I have an aversion to slice of life. It's not that, the characters are relatable, but it is still very much a comedy. A lot of that comes just with, you know, changing the visual style at different moments just to kind of like capture how people are feeling. Also, just, I don't know who did the subtitles on this show, but they did a really good job. It's just also like things on the screen, making sure those are translated, but also just in the visual style, making it kind of match what they're translating. Really great OP, just like uh,
Oh, that's
did
important.
did did not skip it, but
That's
also
important.
really it did not. I didn't watch the ending every time, but also really good, and that's something generally don't care as much about. It's the ending, it's the show's over, whatever. Um, but I really like this one as well. So I
You know,
did watch it a few times.
it's got to be a really good ending to like stick to the
Mm.
ending because at the end of the show you also want to get to the next episode sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, this
Unless
just
you're actually watching it weekly as it comes out.
well, yeah, and I was, so less important. But yeah, just really, really strong, and it does actually have its second and final season coming in the summer. Why they didn't just like lump it together as just do it in the spring and summer, just like you didn't need to put it out in the winter.
They
You could have
love to
just
leave the
waited.
gaps. They
Yeah,
love to leave the gaps between the releases for some ungodly reason.
yeah, but
Yeah,
really strong.
winter was obviously a very strong season in general. Obviously, we had Free Ridden and Jujutsu Kaisen seasons coming out. There's Hell's Paradise as well. Bunch of other good shows. Some that were popular that I liked. Some that were popular that I didn't like. But it was a very strong season. I feel like there's not much that needs to be said about Free Ridden and Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, Frieren, it's really strong. A little disappointing. It was shorter than normal, but
Yeah, it was like 10 episodes. Like, what the fuck? That was the biggest
yeah.
deal. It's like,
Well,
where are my
well,
2 extra episodes? What the hell?
yeah. My understanding is they did it to avoid breaking up arcs. Otherwise, we would have ended up in like a Dan situation where they like start an arc and then they go
I
on
respect
break
that.
for a year.
I do respect that, but I also wish I had more episodes.
Yeah.
It's hard to have it all. But
Yeah.
yeah, the Dan situation is probably the worst outcome.
Yeah. I only had one show that I I don't even remember if I actually watched it as it was airing or if I like started it near the end of the season. Um, but Journal with Witch, a lot of people were talking about this one. I wasn't really expecting to like it because it is very slice of life. Um, it does. I would say it was more interesting, but it still just like couldn't keep me invested. So not too many more thoughts there. That's just one that was fairly popular, getting a fair amount of discussion. But ultimately, it's just not for me. So yeah, winter season, very strong.
One
Although
of
I did
the
not watch Jujutsu Kaisen season 3. uh,
How's do you are you a Jujutsu Kaisen fan? I didn't think so.
I've watched everything but season 3.
Oh, why'd you
Yeah.
skip on season 3 then?
I mean, I like it. I don't love it. I didn't feel a
That's
strong need
fair.
to watch it, especially with splitting this arc into part 1 and part 2. I'm just like, yeah, I'll just watch when part 2 comes out, perhaps.
Yeah, I will say maybe the start of this arc a little confusing. It's hard. It was hard for me to pick up on what the hell was going on and how it related to the previous seasons. But it gets into it pretty fast and everything just goes crazy and is awesome.
Yeah,
Good time,
yeah.
good time. One of the shows that I started watching, I think this was one was fairly popular, but I didn't like it that much. It was Sentenced to Be a Hero. I don't even know that much about the plot, but the first episode was like an hour long or whatever. It was like an hour long first episode, and I was like, oh, it looks pretty good. Like it's pretty entertaining. A lot of things happening, very fast paced. And then the second episode is just another. It's like a normal 30-minute episode. And it was the most boring thing ever. I was like, I'm like, man, you can't be with the hour long, good, fast paced episode into the slow grind second episode. That can't be how this works. I didn't
No.
even bother watching anymore after that. I'm like, nah, I've been insulted enough. It wasn't that good to the point where I was willing to overlook that.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah,
Yeah, then there's
anything else from the winner
probably not
or
worth mentioning. There's the usual. Okay, so there were several shows I think this season that continued the trend of like the shit. I forgot what I call it. The show where like the guy is super powerful, but his
mm,
party thinks he sucks, so they kick him out. But it turns out he's unbelievably powerful, and he
yeah.
proves them wrong. And it there's like every season there's a new one of these shows. This season it had a particularly embarrassing title.
Oh, okay.
In a stupid way. I felt bad for whoever came up with this title. It was Jack of all trades, party of none. I bet they thought that sounded super cool, and it doesn't. And yeah,
Well,
it was also
yeah.
the show also sucked, as they do.
That's the yeah, I was trying to think of what you called them. They're like the new isekai, it's
Yeah,
the
it's
easy to
the
it's the easy like slop genre to pump out,
yeah, it's the
and
follow up slop genre to isekai.
yeah.
They've taken away the coming to the other world part of it.
Yeah. Which to be fair, most isekai did not need to be
Well, yeah,
isekai.
it started out being an interesting part of it, but then suddenly it just like the show would start with, oh yeah, I died and appeared in this world, and then it did not matter at all. They did not make any use
Yeah.
of like their past knowledge or any plot effect based on reincarnating. They were just there in the other world, and that was it.
Yeah.
Incredibly stupid.
But yeah, well, that was the winter season. Pretty strong overall.
Yeah.
What about the spring season? It's still
Oh, the
wrapping up.
spring
We still
season. What
have some
about the
things going
spring season?
on.
The spring season, I think, had maybe like two or three notable shows for me that I like actually liked watching, and then a lot of stinkers, a lot of shows I tried to watch, and then I was just like, no. The most notable show would be Demons of the Shadow Realm, which was very good, and I'm excited to watch more of.
Yeah, I mean that a lot of people looking at it since it's from the Full Metal Alchemist author. Um, Immediately,
I
it kind of invested to at least try it just for that.
I gotta be honest. I think that author knows how to cook.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's definitely a different feel from Full Metal Alchemist. You look at the characters and you're like, oh yeah, it's the same person. But other than that, it's very different in its feel. And I think my biggest thought when watching the show is always just like, oh, that's the episode? I thought that was like 5 minutes. Like, it is so easy to just be invested and the time just flies by. And yeah, I feel like there's just so much in terms of like the world we still don't even really know. Got some
There's
cool
so
things
much to get
going
into.
on. Yeah.
Every episode, it feels like I'm like itching to just learn anything more about what's going on and
Yeah.
what the world is like there.
Yeah.
Very
And this
cool.
isn't
Very
in
cool
like
show.
the show's taking forever to get through stuff. It's not a slog or anything. No, it truly is just I want to learn more about this world. And they're constantly like giving just a little more. So yeah, I'm excited that this is continuing into the summer for sure.
Good.
But yeah, I would
And,
say.
you have any shows, Nick?
Well, I was gonna say
Outside of that one?
probably the big show for the spring. So I had heard about this from a coworker just because a lot of their friends were talking about it. Very excited to see it adapted. Was Witch Hat Atelier.
Oh yes.
Which you might remember as the Dumb Hat Show.
God, they just I feel like the show is probably pretty good, but I just can't get over the hats. Every time they put them on, and they're like putting this hat on like it's the most stylish, coolest thing ever, and they look so stupid. It's like they're all wearing dunce hats.
Yeah, and they even have they do address like the typical witch hat, and those are like the bad witches. They wear that, and it's like, why didn't you just switch this? Why did you make
I'm like,
them look cool?
Why'd you give your main characters the lamer version of the hat? Why? Why would you do that?
But
To be fair, I don't think those hats the dunce cap ones look very evil, so it wouldn't really work out that way.
Yeah.
They could have just had them have different hats though.
They could have had a different distinguishing feature for sure. You didn't have to base it around the hats. But yeah, it's really good. Great magic system. I really like what they do with it. But I do have to say, the final episode ends on a massive cliffhanger.
Oh,
Just
go.
like surpasses Dan to Dan, I would say.
That's
like
crazy. That's crazy.
I am so upset. So I can't actually really recommend this show right now, I would say, unless you feel like reading the manga.
The only real way to surpass Dan is if the second season came out and they did it again.
That is true. That is true.
The back-to-back horrible cliffhanger endings is like, that's what really makes it a Dan moment.
I mean, Dan, I did read the manga for a bit after the second season, and there's not a good moment. Like, surely for the first season, they chose like the worst moment to cut that season.
It could
but
not
like,
have been worse.
I feel like having read it, a lot of kind of the arcs immediately flow into one another. There's not really a pause moment. And the second season is a little better with its cliffhanger, at
Second
least.
season's definitely not as bad, but it's just, it gives you like, oh my god, they did it again.
They did it again.
So yeah, we'll have to remember if Witch Hat Atelier gets another season,
if they get another
they hit us with the cliffhanger. This could be a negative trend we're seeing thanks to Dan. Everyone's like, oh, Dan is, so we gotta do it.
Yeah. But yeah, Other things from the spring season, I mean, I had a few different rom-coms I dropped. I dropped one fairly late in the season. Even a Replica Can Fall in Love. I
Mm.
just feel like it doesn't really basically people can have replicas in this world which are just kind of born from their desire to not do things themselves or something. I don't know. The thing is
Seems kind of weird.
they also never really focus enough on like the original person to make it as interesting as it could be. I think we're
Mm.
basically only ever following the replica,
Oh,
and
I
so
mean,
you might as well just be watching
yeah.
the show without that part. Like there are certainly elements that include that, but for the most part it feels like they're kind of ignoring the main premise.
Yeah, like
um
you feel like there would be a highlight of like showing both of the replica and the normal person,
yeah,
like comparing them and stuff.
no, not really.
But now they're just fucking. They just wanted it to be weird. This is the
Yeah.
same thing as those isekais that like it doesn't matter that that it's
Yeah,
an
yeah, yeah,
isekai.
yeah.
It's
It's the
exactly
same
that. They just
thing.
wanted it to be weird for the sake of it.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, no, there
Ooh,
were still some good rom coms. I would say um, the this title is a long one and might I don't know. It's called The Klutzy Class Monitor and the Girl with the Short Skirt. I
interesting.
was really unsure about this one at first, but it's pretty funny. Witch Watch, if you remember, like the student council, they're all stupidly eccentric.
Oh yeah.
Take that, but they're actually like dating people in the student council, so or people who are involved with the school. So we have the class monitor, and the girl with the short skirt, as the title says. But part of the show was I just really like the art style. So like bright and vibrant in its colors, and the character designs remind me of Scott Pilgrim, which I really like that style. So it was good overall, but the real highlight for the romance was the Ramparts of Ice. And this
Wait,
is
you telling me the real highlight for romance wasn't Rent a Girlfriend season 5?
it definitely was not. Not having watched it, I'm just saying it will never be the highlight. It can't ever be the highlight.
It's impossible.
If there is ever a season where it's like Rent a Girlfriend was the best romance that
I
season.
will tell you this. The good news is on my anime list, it is rocking a 6.2 out of 10.
Perfect. It needs to go lower. I believe it can go lower.
You can get that shit lower. Get it to 5.
What's really funny
Fuck that
actually
show.
is usually later seasons get rated higher because the only people watching it are the people who are fans. So you would think actually its rating has climbed, but I'm sure that's actually lower than like season 1, 2, maybe 3. I don't know who's still watching, but but yeah, no. But back to the Ramparts of Ice.
Right. Of course.
Right. So this is actually also from the offer of You and I Are Polar Opposites. Both of their works getting adapted in the same year.
Right.
Actually done by different studios, which was really surprising just because obviously being from the same person, they have the same art style and they do a lot of kind of the same things. Um, so both studios did a really good job. One thing that stands out about this show is its transition into its ending. There's always like the way they end the episodes, they kind of like start playing the ending music and it leads in really well. The ending is like pretty dramatic. Um, and so, yeah, I can't think of an Irish show that's really done it or done it that well, at least. But yeah, same things as kind of You and I Are Polar Opposites. The characters just really well written, certain relatability. Glad we had this kind of in between in that gap of the 2 seasons of You and I Are Polar Opposites.
Yeah, seems interesting. I do like a good ending.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they.
Yeah,
I could not tell you about the opening to the Ramparts of Ice. Like, it's fine, you know, but like the ending and the transition they do into it,
Having a
beautiful.
good like transition to the end of the episode always hits hard.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's see.
but yeah.
So some of the other shows I was watching in the spring. I'll mention the other two shows that I thought were pretty decent. They weren't like huge stands out by the end of it, but I did enjoy them quite a bit. And then I'll go into, all of the absolute trash that I watched. So the two standouts, the two ones that were pretty good, were the Agents of the Four Seasons,
Mm,
which was a pretty interesting show. A lot going on, a lot of different ideas that they were dealing with there, but it was a fun show, very enjoyable. Mix of like some fast-paced action scenes with cool powers, and then just characters talking to each other. A lot of big talky show,
yeah,
which
yeah.
sometimes I like a good talky show. I just want characters to talk to each other. It makes up for all the shows where characters just don't talk to each other for some inexplicable reason, and it's just like, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? Just speak. So yeah, they talk to each other, and sometimes they don't talk to each other, but they like want to talk to each other, and it's like, yeah, at least they're acknowledging it.
At least they acknowledge it.
Good show though. I enjoyed it. Nothing like too spectacular. I won't sing its praises too crazily, but it was enjoyable. And then the other show, I haven't finished this show yet, but it's the other show was Mao,
Mm,
which was like some like weird time travel supernatural kind of show where the main character can like go through this gate that leads to the past, and she has to work with the characters of the past to try to solve the mystery of this accident where her parents died and how it relates to stuff that's going on back then.
interesting.
Pretty fun. Very
That does sound like I would actually really enjoy it. I'm writing it down right now. um,
yeah, it's a fun show. It also has a good intro. You know what I say. If you got a good opening, it's got to be a good show.
yeah, yeah. That's how it has to be. You know, it's a rule.
Yeah, it just has to be. So those two shows were pretty good, and then of course I spent a good amount of time watching some like not good shows. My favorite hate watch of the season, of course, was the second season of Wisteria Wand and Sword.
I have excellent news for you. It's getting a third season.
I hate this show. Sucks so bad, but it's so popular. So many people watch it.
You know, I mean, sometimes you just have to watch a bad show, perhaps, or many people just have bad taste. You know.
I mean, it's rated at 8.2 on my anime list. Like, this is not an 8.2 show.
Yeah, maybe people just have bad taste. You know, having seen that like a few episodes you've shown me. Yeah.
I remember prefacing those with, "Hey, we're gonna watch the show because it's on." You don't have to worry about what happened before. It doesn't matter. Nothing important happened in the show ever.
Yeah. It's certainly a show, and you know, I occasionally watch something I know isn't good, and I'll still be like, you know, I know this isn't good, but I like it. But I think Wand and Sword just can't be that. It's I don't see the redeeming qualities it has.
It oozes the aura of a show that that thinks it's cooler than it is.
Yeah, that's very accurate.
And then it's also, I just can't get over how stupid it is that every single character, their hair color just matches the elements of magic.
Yep.
I'm like, why? Why have you color coded the entire cast?
Yeah, that's just bizarre.
Why are we doing this? Come
Makes
on.
it really easy to know what they're about to do, you know. I'm like,
really
oh
easy
yeah,
to
they're gonna use lightning.
There are no surprises in the show, that's for sure. Yeah, this season, I think it's almost over 12 episodes or something, but we've like nothing has happened. I swear, like things have happened.
Yeah.
But like it feels like no progress has been made, and they're just fucking dirtling around. saying their motivational phrases to each other, and it's really embarrassing to hear them say these things. And I'm just like, what are you doing? What is happening in this show? And then every once in a
Um,
while they'll have like a cool battle, and some character will start like just shouting things and like try to make it more exciting.
yeah.
I don't know, I hate this show. It's so boring. Shit.
But you're gonna be watching
It
season three,
looks
right?
it looks all right. Yeah, of course I'll watch. I gotta keep watching. I gotta tell you, this is my number one hate launch of the decade, baby.
Wow.
And then of course, so I spent a good amount of time catching up on Classroom of the Elite so I could be here to watch the fourth season. And I got like 4 episodes in, and then I'm like, I don't like the fourth season that much.
See, yeah, I remember when season 4 started, and I was saying I don't know if I'm gonna stick with it. And we talked a little about it. How you had seen some clip from it, and I was like, yeah, I guess that did happen, but I still don't really care about this show.
I
And
understand now. I understand.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
even think I made it to that clip that I was talking about.
yeah.
It's just the fourth season just doesn't have it.
Yeah, and I think some of this perhaps comes from. I've generally always heard that Classroom of the Elite, the light novels are significantly better than the show, which is pretty
Maybe I
high
should start
praises
reading it.
because the first 3 seasons.
The first 3 seasons of the show are good, dude. I
Yeah.
love them. I was hyped.
um,
I was hyped to go to the fourth season, and I was instantly disappointed.
and yeah, now I kind of wonder: are the second year light novels just also not good, or is this just like they've made some uh decisions that just make it worse? Like, I do think some of this is the fact they did make changes in the first 3 seasons. um Again, having not read the light novels, I'm just going based off what I see people say. But in the first 3 seasons, Horikita plays like a big role. Apparently, she doesn't actually really have that big a role in the novels. Like, she's there, but the show makes her a lot more important. I don't think that's necessarily part of why season 4 is worse. I just
Season four has a lot of things that make it
yeah.
not as good.
But yeah, I think I watched through episode 7 or 8, and then I was like, yeah, I'm good. you
Yeah,
know,
there was like there were like multiple scenes that were happening, and I'm just looking. I'm thinking to myself, like I'm looking at Ayano Koji's face, and he's like blank face, like yeah, this doesn't matter, and I'm like yeah, this doesn't matter, does
yeah.
it? Like why am I watching this? Nothing is this can't possibly be meaningful.
I think it's just, they have a lot of new characters because the first years play a
Yeah,
big role, I
that might have
guess.
been the problem.
And I think they're just like, now we gotta meet all of these people. We gotta know what their deal is, and it's just
Well, I
taking a
feel
lot
like
of screen time.
they really went out of their way to try to make the first years matter a lot.
Yeah,
And then also, but then they like just couldn't man. It felt like they couldn't balance it, or they're having trouble balancing that with also making the second years now, like the original cast,
yeah,
still matter and still do stuff, have stuff to do.
yeah. To me,
Instead of,
and that's why I wonder just about the second year light novels. It's considered kind of like a separate series.
Mhm.
A sequel to the originals. And I just want to know, do people like those? Is this just a problem with the show, or is it in general downhill? um, but yeah, we'll
Yeah, I don't know. I think it depend. It will depend on how much the light novels like really focus on the new first years
yeah,
and stuff. Because the stuff I was looking forward to in the next season had nothing to do with like new characters coming into play and like the new first years and what they were doing. I was like, no, that's not really what I'm interested in. I got to see like Ayano Koji settle his beef with that one guy.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. I don't care
Yeah.
about this new guy who is basically the same as the old guy. I want the old guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So,
they had so many interesting things happening with the characters that were already there. And like in the grand scheme of things, they lost like in the year change, they lost like three meaningful characters or something.
mm,
And so it's like I don't know why they just didn't keep going and then maybe bring in the first year slowly.
yeah.
So yeah, it's a confusing change, and I didn't like it.
Well, on a more positive note here for the spring season, and my obligatory gotta talk about Kaguya-sama. We didn't
Oh,
have. Well, actually,
really?
we kind of had Kaguya-sama. It came out. We had stuff come out towards the end of last year, but actually, I'm talking about a show that, on its surface, is the same premise, called "I Want to End This Love Game."
All right.
Yeah, and uh, it is very similar. It is leans a lot more into just more romance than comedy for sure. Like Kaguya-sama is very much, I would say, almost like comedy first. um, this here is very much more focused on romance. It's not quite over. It has one more episode coming out, but it's been pretty good. Um, I yeah, I'm really just talking about it for the obligatory mention.
Of course. Wait, speaking of the rom com stuff, going back to that, did you try watching the show that was called shit was it? I Made Friends with the Second Prettiest Girl in My
I
Class.
did.
I saw that show and I'm like, bro, I swear that's got to be like I didn't try watching it. I was like, man, that has to be like the second coming of the like I Hate My Wife show.
It's not. Not quite that. I mean, the I Hate My Wife show, which I'm forgetting the actual name, but
I
yeah.
remember what it was called.
um, but that one kind of like started off with a premise and devolved into generic rom com. This one is just a generic rom com at the beginning. It's just its title makes you think for a
Well, yeah,
second. Maybe there
it's got the
is more.
title with the oddly specific, like clearly defined premise, and then I'm like, there's no way that's anything.
Yeah, no.
That's all smoke and mirrors.
I I dropped this after I typically drop things after 3 episodes if it's not interesting. So we'll say I watched the first 3 episodes. It truly is just a generic rom com.
Maybe
Nothing
this
to
new
it.
trend is like is the new isekai of rom coms,
Mm.
where it's an oddly specific premise into just the most generic rom com you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Very light
I'm
on the com.
yeah, there certainly was not a lot of calm there. Not even really a lot of rom. I mean, it's really nothing. um yeah, it's every few seasons I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to be so focused on rom-com, let me like truly watch them and make decisions, but then I start watching and I'm like, this is why I don't watch everything that comes out. Because a lot of it is just not very interesting or good. This season was better than most, I would say. I didn't talk about all of them, but some of the other ones I watched, they were, um, not outstanding or anything, fairly average, but good. Another one from the season was Gals Can't Be Kind to Otaku. Um, it was actually much better than expected. Its opening was really good. I actually, would thinking about what we've had so far this year, it would probably place fairly highly. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's good, but it's not necessarily something I'm gonna be like raving about like I have some of the others.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, I guess another show that I watched that I was actually very disappointed in this season. It
Mm.
was the fourth season of that time I got reincarnated as a slime, also known as the second slime anime, or is it the first slime anime? It's one of the slime animes. It's either the first or the second.
You're the only one who keeps track of the first, second, and third slime animes. So
it's all right. We haven't heard from the third slime anime in years now.
Okay.
So. But normally this show is a show I just watch because just to put something on. I have no idea what's going on in the show, but I'm also just engaged the whole time, and I'm like, yeah, I see, and I don't see, but I'm watching. But this season, I was genuinely bored for almost every single episode I watched. Like, man, this season sucked.
Damn.
I wasn't even as confusing as it usually is. They just kind of talked for a little bit, and then they hyped up the main villain for the season, and she just fucking got rolled over immediately. It was not no contest whatsoever. There was no sense of risk or like danger. She just like walked in and died. And then the season ended, and I was like, "What? That's it."
Damn.
Yeah. And so yeah, I think there's supposed to be more seasons of this coming out throughout the year. So we'll see if it gets better or if it continues to get worse.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is that I'll mention with this season is this was the fourth season of ReZero was coming out this season, and I dropped the show in the second season because I didn't like the second season. But people have been telling me that the second season was in fact not that good, but the rest of it is really good. And so now I'm slowly starting to rewatch the whole show to catch back up, and maybe I'll see if the fourth season is good someday. I mean, it's got a 9.2 rating, so
Wow.
yeah, that's
That
pretty
is-
high. You don't see over 9 too often.
Yeah. Something getting to an 8, perhaps that can happen. Something getting to a 9.
I mean, the Witch Hat show has an 8.6.
Okay. Yeah. Perhaps it really is that good then. And the second season was in fact just bad. They have to make good isekai once in a while.
Well, this one's old. This one's an older one. This comes back from when there were some good isekai,
Okay.
and before it was just the slop genre. And now it's just the slop genre, so we'll see
Yeah.
if it
That's
actually
also
is.
why it has a short name like ReZero. I'm sure there's a subtitle.
Oh no,
attached
there's
to
yeah,
it.
there's a second.
but
That's not the end of the title.
but like the newer ones, there isn't even like a subtitle you can go off of because the title is just what you might have as a subtitle.
Yeah, there is no subtitle. There's
Yeah.
no main title, subtitle. It's just sentence.
Yeah.
There's a sentence in the place of the title.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
guess
mean,
that
I
brings
think
us to the upcoming summer season.
yeah.
You got
yeah.
any shows you're looking forward to this summer?
I mean, we've already talked about, Demons of the Shadow Realm continuing. You and I are Polar Opposites. It's getting its second season, which will also finish it out. It's a fairly short manga, so not surprising it's gonna finish. But in terms of other things, Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You. This one, since its announcement, people have been kind of talking about.
Oh yeah.
And they recently did something weird where they released the first 6 episodes as 12 episodes on Crunchyroll. I don't know what's going on with that. I didn't watch it, but people liked what they've released so far. So looking forward to the proper full season release. And then there's I truly have this just because it's been very heavily promoted, and it's also an original anime. It's not an adaptation. It's called Goodbye Lara. And I've already kind of forgotten the premise behind this one. It has vague Little Mermaid premise.
What?
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 But it's not an adaptation. It if I remember correctly, basically same story kind of mermaid falls in love with human,
Okay.
gets legs, goes And then
I
something
mean, so it
happens.
literally is the Little Mermaid.
Well, so
But anime.
she does not end up with him, and she
Oh,
like
does that
returns to the
happen? How
returns.
does the Little Mermaid end?
They get together at least in the Disney one. I don't know about the original. The
Uh,
original one's probably like a like horrible ending, like many
they probably
fairy
like
tales.
die or something, die terrible deaths or
Well,
something.
so basically, if that is the case, this is kind of then following it. She like returns to the sea, turns into foam, is then reborn like 1,000 years
Oh,
later. Basically, the whole thing was she needed to like end up with her love by a certain point, or she would fade or whatever. Anyways, she's now
I
like
see.
reborn, and this time is like determined to actually like fall in love, and yeah. So I don't know. It's a semi original work, I guess. I keep seeing things about it, so I'll give it a shot. I'll support some original anime.
Seems
Let's
like it could be interesting. Yeah.
yeah, um, yeah. That's what I got kind of lined up for the summer.
Just that one, huh?
No, no. Demons
Oh,
of the
there's
Shadow
more.
Realm.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Demons of the Shadow Realm. You and I are polar opposites and smoking behind the supermarket Wii U.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. Yeah, I think I have like obviously Demons of the Shadow Realm continuing. We'll be watching that. Very good show. But I think of the stuff that I know is coming out in the summer, I think there's only two shows, and one I'm nowhere near being able to watch yet. The first is the second season of Clavities, which was really good, and I'm excited for a second season.
Do you mean
And
third season?
no, it's the second season.
Or is it the second season? Okay.
Yeah, it's the second season. There's only one season right now,
Okay.
unless I missed one.
I don't know.
I
I
didn't know
just
you were the expert on this show, Nick. I didn't think you watched it.
I don't. I haven't. Probably won't.
Yeah, it doesn't seem up your alley. But then the other one is I think it's the last season of Bleach: Thousand Year Blood War, and
Mm.
I haven't finished Bleach yet. I haven't gotten to the Thousand Year Blood War part,
Uh,
so maybe someday I'll get to watch that and it'll be cool. But for now, I gotta slog through some extremely mid episodes of original Bleach first.
yeah. You also need to watch. I've mentioned this a few times, and I've been anticipating it coming out just so I can tell you to watch it, and then they keep delaying it. But it's finally coming out. Is Young Ladies Don't Play Fighting Games?
Yeah.
So you have to tell me how that is, and then.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely give that a check.
But yeah, um, yeah, that's kind of what's coming out for the summer at least. I did watch a few other things in the spring, um, just kind of in between, waiting for new episodes to come out. And Look Back, it's a great movie. Orange, older show, pretty good. From last year, Takapi's Original Sin, very dark, very good, but very dark, I would say. But then the ones, or rather one I really want to talk about is Pluto, which we have actually discussed on this podcast before when we were very
Have we?
confused to see it at the Crunchyroll Awards, and we
Oh,
just had no idea what
what
it
is that show?
was.
What is
So
it?
basically, this is a sort of um, murder mystery isn't quite right. But it's like a mystery. There's some psychological things. Its episodes are longer. They're 45 minutes to an hour. But each one, kind of really gets a certain focus. It's really good. Um, but ultimately, what this is it's actually a reimagining of an arc from Astro Boy.
Astro Boy.
Yeah.
What was Astro Boy?
Astro Boy is one of the classic manga slash anime. When I say
Ah,
classic, I mean the 60s.
oh yeah,
um,
hell yeah.
yeah, and so this was it was part of one of the anniversaries. They did like a new anime And then this was a manga, and yeah, it's just reimagines this one arc as this darker murder psychological thing. But yeah, it was really good art, really interesting. I was really invested in it. And while I am watched Astro Boy, I'm largely unfamiliar with it. Still cool to see, what is originally very much like a children's adventure show and
Yeah.
have this like darker take that's actually interesting, not just uh, like Netflix live action Avatar is like darker and more adult for no real reason.
Darker in the sense that they toned down the lighting a little bit.
Yeah. Whereas this is darker and toned and interesting. And yeah,
Oh,
just
it's the first episode of the live action Avatar. They have like some guy who just gets burned to death for no real reason.
yeah, basically.
Just for fun. Like not
Yeah.
even like not even normally included in like the opening scenes of Avatar. They're just like, yeah, we gotta show them that we're serious. Burn this guy
Yeah.
to death.
Yeah, they Netflix really set to make sure that you knew immediately this isn't the original. We're different. We're gonna show people burning. No,
We're gonna
but
show
no
people.
reason to do it, but we're gonna do it. It doesn't
We're
add
gonna
any
show
value.
we're gonna show people that are burning to death, and we're gonna show people that have no ability to display their emotions in dialogue.
Yep. But yeah, really awesome. Oh yeah, I also watched Disastrous Life of Psyche K. That's just really funny,
Oh, that was a good show.
good fun.
Very funny
Um,
show.
but yeah, Pluto was the standout of things I watched that weren't currently airing.
I did a little bit of watching things that weren't currently airing along the way. I'm now forgetting a lot of what they were. Oh my gosh, wait, one of them is ongoing. It's an ongoing project. I'm attempting to unravel all of my questions and the mysteries behind whatever the fuck Type Moon is doing. They're the people who do like the Fate series,
Yeah,
where every once in a while they come out with a new season of so it's like Fate some bullshit or whatever, and it like is loosely related to the other ones, but like most of the time it's like oh, set in an alternate reality, the alternate timeline. It's like not actually the same thing whatsoever, but they just keep rehashing like the same plot basically.
yeah.
And sometimes they're fun, and sometimes they're not fun. But I've been slowly unraveling what the fuck's going on there. I'll probably write some kind of thing on the website about that at some point. There's a lot to dig into. There's possibly too much to unravel just in one brief podcast segment.
Yeah,
But then,
I was just taking a look at it on Analyst here, and like half of the thing, I just clicked one of them. Which one am I? I'm looking at Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, and like
uh,
there's like 10 different alternatives listed, and some of them are like, oh, this is just the manga adaptation of the TV show, because they do that sometimes, and then our ones are like just a completely different title. So
yeah, it's a very confusing series. I imagine anybody who's trying to watch this series, the first thing they look up is like, hey, what order should I watch it in? And then the answers they find are it doesn't really matter as long as you watch like these two shows in this order, you'll be okay.
yeah.
Yeah, very nonsensical series. Uh, but maybe we'll find some interesting stuff in there along the way. Whew. And then I cleaned up a couple other shows that I felt like rewatching. Been in the rewatch mood a lot recently. I rewatched shoot, what's this show called? Ah yeah, Mao Yusha.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
what its English title is, but that's what it's called in Japanese. And that show's really fun. I like it. It's an interesting fantasy show, very heavy on the politics and stuff like that. And then I also rewatched Tower of Draga, which is a very, very ridiculous show. But both of those, I put posts up about them on the website. So please go read them, and then
Yeah.
you can understand how awesome or terrible they are. I won't reveal it here.
Gotta drive that traffic,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hottakesreviews.com.
I gotta make up for not having actually written reviews for winter or spring yet.
Yeah. um, yeah, as we were kind of talking about, I'm probably not writing reviews for the spring season, and I certainly didn't for the winter. Maybe I'll do like a cumulative review for You and I Are Polar Opposites, given the second
Oh yeah,
season.
post summer. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
fair.
yeah. Given it might as well have been one season. Don't do that where you just separate by a few months. Just release it at once. They gotta stop doing that.
True.
But yeah, um, got some good stuff
So
coming up in the
so
summer,
overall
and
though,
yeah.
with what we've seen so far, what's come out of the summer, what's your ranking of the year? If you had to give it a ranking, I'll
Um,
let you choose like how you're ranking them,
yeah. I would
like what
say
the scoring metric is.
the scoring metric. This feels like a um I'm just gonna arbitrarily choose this as an out of 5 scale.
Okay,
Where
okay,
like
we're going out of 5. I like
yeah.
it.
Um I'm gonna say this is probably I'm gonna put it as a 4 out of 5.
Oh, 4.
I'm
Wow.
putting it pretty high. I
That's
know
yeah, that's pretty surprising.
I think that while there have certainly been misses. For me, the highs have very much made up for that. A lot of that is certainly being driven by the winter. I would say the spring season, I would say, was weaker, but what I liked in the spring, I tended to still really like. So,
I can feel that sentiment. I was thinking a solid 3 out of 5. That's what I was thinking. But I'll for similar reasons because the shows that I did like were really good, and winter was just really strong. There's no denying that. But I'm not seeing much for summer, and there certainly wasn't that much for spring. So
mm,
I'm at the moment not feeling too great about the year with the
yeah.
recency bias.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I do know for the fall, looking way ahead, we'll have the conclusion to the Rascal Does Not Dream series.
Uh,
Uh,
Another show I gotta catch up on.
yeah. And then Ranma One Half continues. I guess that's just going to
Another
be
show I
annual
gotta
at this
catch up
point.
on.
Yeah.
I got a lot of catching. I got a lot of homework to do. Maybe it's a good thing that there's not much going on in the summer.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
gotta catch up on ReZero, Bleach, both of those shows. I
Yeah.
I might be hard at work all summer.
Yeah, yeah. Summer homework right there.
Mm,
But yeah, well,
yeah, not bad. Not bad overall. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Maybe they'll see some nice surprises over the summer and in the fall. I always like the anime. I have no idea what's coming out. I just see it come up, and I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And it turns out to be an amazing show. That's how it was with Train to the End of the World. It was like one of my favorite
mm,
finds of all time.
yeah,
Such a good show.
yeah. Maybe you'll have another show like that, and it'll make up for everything else.
Yeah, and hopefully the shows coming up in the summer will inspire you to return to the writing, Nick.
Yes.
Get back onto the website. People love your writing so much.
They do. My fans, they hunger.
Your loyal fans have been missing you.
All right. Well, you can catch at least Christian writing on the website, and we'll be back soon enough with another episode.
Hopefully with
Maybe,
Michael.
hopefully, with Michael of the podcast. We have been kind of slacking on it so far, but we'll make up for it.
Michael needs to stop being busy.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you can find Michael. I don't know where online, but you can find him online and tell him to stop being busy.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
If you know him personally, drive to his house and knock on his door and tell him to free up some time.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again for listening to another episode of the Hot Takes podcast, and we'll catch you next time.
See you then.